Hello everyone, I'm CrypticFox, and welcome back to the Space Cesspool. This is of course the colony that we started a couple weeks ago in Oxygen Not Included, and we're continuing to build out now. Everything so far in our colony has been going fairly well, oddly enough. It's the last couple colonies we've had have been a little bit of a rocky start. We've had some little oversights that have resulted in some unfortunate duplicate deaths, but tonight we're working on the colony that we have 7 live duplicates in currently. We've got tons of food available, oxygen's in a good place. Everything so far seems to be doing fairly well. We even have some power systems in place with a small power grid. Nothing too fantastic or anything, but we do have a nice little condensed base with some good food amount. The duplicates are good shape. Welcome everyone who's here so far in the chat. And those of you who might be watching this on a restream or a replay after the fact anyway. Apologize a little bit, my voice is a bit off. I seem to have hit my seasonal allergy time, and it's just driving me a little bit nuts, and it's kind of messing with my voice a bit, but hopefully we'll have a good night tonight. Do a little bit more building out with our colony. I want to expand a little bit on our ranch that we have up here. Now, obviously this wall here needs to come out so we have room for an incubator. And then once we have that, we can start looking at trying to hatch some eggs. Once our nice little hatches start to lay those. But yeah, I think so far this has been one of the more successful colonies recently. Everything seems to be flowing fairly well. As long as we don't go crazy, then things should continue to go well anyway. I think one of the biggest differences is that I've gotten in the habit of just taking duplicate up until we get to about 15 or 16. And I need to rebalance a little bit and figure out change my early game around a little bit so we can get a little bit better stabilized before we're taking those duplicates on. So for the moment, I'm not going to take on any more duplicates. We'll stay at 7 as we continue to build this out a little bit. And then as the colony gets, again, a little bit more, even more stable and things start getting a little better, then I'll expand with some living quarters and we'll bring in some more duplicates. But it's fantastic. Say Wally Bra. Love a good shout out, by the way. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. Congratulations. So what do we want to tackle today? I mean, we started a few things. We've started to kind of drill down here. We got access to this first little ruin here and gave somebody some new traits. Down here there is a fair amount of algae and stuff, but I kind of want to move away from the algae. We do also have some germ-free slime, which is down here, which is always very handy. A little bit of gold amalgam. Some of these reed fiber seeds and some reed fiber in general. We also dug in up here so we could get access to this geyser that's down here. We have a natural gas geyser that we haven't yet analyzed. So we want to try and get a scientist up to the appropriate level that we can analyze that. Pardon me, and try to understand a little bit about how this particular geyser is going to work. That could provide a reasonable source of energy for us. They're not quite as game changing, I don't think, as they used to be. It used to be when you found a natural gas geyser, you were set for energy for the life of your colony. Not quite the case now, but it still should be really good. We'll see if we can find some more as well. Now, my challenge here is going to be that we don't have any oxygen set up here. There is actually oxygen in the space up here, but we don't have our colony set up to oxygenate this upper area. So I might want to try and maybe move our wall up here a little bit. I'm going to block in the batteries and try to keep the heat trapped in here. Should probably do that now. Actually, while I think of it, I don't want an automated door there. Don't want to tap any extra power we don't have to use. Not really worried about oxygen in this space, so I guess we'll just seal this off here. And then we can move our door from here up to here. And that will allow us to seal off that space a little bit. Keep the oxygen trapped so we're not trying to pressurize too large of an area. Tonight I think I'm going to try and tackle a couple of oxygen rooms. Maybe we'll do one up here and one over here. Something that's a little bit more of a compact design than what I've been using. Play around with something a little bit different. See if we can get a good flow of oxygen going from those so we don't have to be reliant, of course, on the algae for our oxygen either. It's 10 late stream. Yeah, actually, my streams are pretty much always at this time. Every once in a while, I've had an earlier stream, but it's actually pretty rare for me. Just because I have like work and family commitments and that sort of thing. I almost missed the stream tonight. I laid down with my daughter to put her to sleep and then fell asleep. But fortunately, I woke up in time. Down here, we also have our Bristle Blossom farm that's been hard at work. Although we do lack a farmer right now because we took the only farm we had available and made them a rancher. So we probably want to take a look and see who we have moving up into that position. Here's our jobs currently. We have Gabriel up at a 2nd level miner. It's sticky all over my desk. Second level miner. We don't have anybody in the architect position or the gopher. We have Durgan as a general engineer. Snowheart's a farmhand. They're at 36%. We need to get them up to farmers so they can use the farming machinery, and that will allow our bristle blossoms to grow at a better rate. Fastman is at 95% research, so if we can get him up to tenured scientist, he'll be able to do the research on the geysers, which would be great. Groundskeeper 90% tidy. Summer's at 100% for food. I'm not going to move her up just yet because we don't need a higher level chef at the moment, and we don't have any art students right now either because we just don't really have need of the artwork just now. Stress in the colony in general is pretty good. They're at 1%. And immunity's 100%. So things are going fairly well that way. Totally acceptable reason to miss the stream. Yeah, well, yeah, I prefer not to if I can avoid it, but what are you going to do? Raise the ceiling above the batteries. You can add paintings above them. Well, I'm not really expecting people to go in there. There's not really that many reasons for the colonists to go into, or the duplicates rather, to go into this space. I'm going to throw insulation around here again. You know what? I'm going to just insulate this whole thing over here. Since I'm going to want to make use of the space that's up here anyway. This side over here, I didn't insulate it. Hopefully things don't get too warm for the hatches. Maybe I should insulate it. It's insulated at the there we go. Cancel here. It's insulated at the bottom because we had already sort of built an insulation layer for our colony there, but not at the top part. So we'll insulate that too, just to make sure. Temperature management in the colony is going to start to become something that's relatively important too. Temperatures have gradually risen here. They're on the warm side. I'd rather have them in the temperate range. At the warm range, they're starting to get a little warm. They're pushing 30 degrees. That's not really good for our plants down here. Fortunately, our bristle blossoms are still doing okay, even with these lights here that produce a little bit of heat. But we'll need to get some sort of cooling going as well, and I think that will be part of our structure for the oxygen area. So what we'll do is we'll create some oxygen. We'll run it through some regulators to cool it down. So when we pump it into the colony, it'll be on the cooler side. That will hopefully sort of restore most of the colony to a nice cool temperature. And that will let us manage those temperatures fairly well. We have just about the whole colony insulated at this point. I probably should do this bottom portion here still. Just plan to insulate all this so that we can kind of have that all sealed off. That's not super high importance, but at least this will let us kind of get like a sort of thermal barrier around the whole thing. This spot here, although we don't have insulation around it, it does have the water on the other side. That tends to block a fair amount of heat, so it should be fine. Love hearing your voice. It's so soothing and calm. Thank you. It actually feels really gravelly to me tonight. I don't know what the deal is. The trees here, so I'm allergic to trees. It's my seasonal allergy. When the trees start to pollinate, my allergies go nuts. But the funny thing is, the trees aren't even budding here, so I'm not sure what the deal is. It hasn't been warm enough for that yet. Happy birthday, Jesus. How do you manage watching chat and paying attention to the game? Only takes 100% of your concentration. Your dupes still die. I don't know. I guess it's just a practice thing. I wouldn't say that it takes 100% of my concentration because a lot of time the duplicates are running around sort of doing their own thing. And I'm just periodically giving them orders to try to redirect them. Once you get to a place where the colony is relatively stable, it's much easier to pay attention to the chat. I still miss stuff, don't get me wrong. We got a few hundred people in here, everybody chatting. It does get to be a little bit trickier to stay on top of it. It's not too bad. I was doing some experimenting as well with trying to purify polluted and germy water, and I found some interesting things with the germs water. They seem to have made the germs a lot more resilient than they used to be. I should probably research HVAC if we're going to do that cooling system for the air. So I had actually taken some polluted water that had germs in it. I converted it to steam and then recondensed it, and even though the food poisoning germs are supposed to die off at 70 degrees Celsius. They don't die off at like instantly. It's sort of a gradual progression. So I ended up with a scenario where I had clean water that was still germy out of that system. So I had taken the germy water, converted it to steam, recondensed it as clean water, and the clean water had germs in it. So I was like, well, that kind of stinks. So I think what we might do with the germy water is just feed it into a crop that maybe will accept polluted water or something, so we don't have to deal with it. And I'm thinking that that crop should be reed fiber, because then we can use the reed fiber in order to make some exosuits, so our duplicants can head down to the area where there's oil and things. So we've dug down a little ways down here, looking for just whatever things we can find. But it hasn't necessarily gotten us down to the point where survival is a challenge. Whoops. Except they don't have an oxygen supply down here, so they're only gonna be able to run so far before they can't go any farther. And they'll have to kind of head back up to take a breath, and it's when they go back to take a breath that we're going to lose that opportunity a bit. And I'm trying to kind of avoid little pockets of gas down here as we dig, so I don't send too much crazy stuff up into the colony. But we'll head down there. I just want to see what's down below here. We still haven't found a cold biome yet either. There's some dust streams that would be handy, or dust caps rather, that'd be handy to grow as well. Down below the colony here would be like, even though I've sort of sealed this off with this bit of a thermal barrier, it would be handy just to send, like, build a farm down here or something too to handle the dust caps, because they're really handy. And way down here too is where we can put our slicksters once we get our hands on them too, which we can apparently wrangle with a rancher as long as they're high enough level. Hey Michael, how are you? You spoil your dupes and give them everything they want, and then they die. See, here's the trouble: if you give them everything they want, then maybe they're just too satisfied. They can't work anymore. Yeah, we're almost at 50k subs, Lucas. We're getting there. A little ways off. Okay, so up here is where I want to build my new little oxygen spaces, and I'll kind of show you what I have in mind. I was kind of poking around with a few different design ideas. I'm not entirely sure what I'm settled on, but we'll try and get something built here. We obviously are going to need the electrolyzer here if we're going to work off of water. Typically, what I've been doing is I've been building a room that's sort of a big dome shape, like something like this. That's not exact, but I've been building that kind of a dome shape and then letting the hydrogen sort of pool at the top and then collecting it and sending it out. I'd rather work, I think, now with something that sort of directly filters the gas and gives me the oxygen I need, but doesn't have to take up quite as much room. So instead, if we look at something that is using the electrolyzer in here, and then we put some gas permeable tile underneath it. Then we build a little wall around it and a space below so that we can put our pump in, like so. And then just a single layer at the top here that will allow for space for the hydrogen to build up, like this. And then I'm going to use a little gas pump here, a gas pump here. So what will happen is this should naturally sort the gases. The hydrogen will move up into the space up here and get trapped into here. Once we've evacuated all the gas that's in this area, the only gas that should get into this space should be the hydrogen, because it's the one that's moving upward. The oxygen will always move downward, and it'll occupy the space down here, and then we'll pump it out. Now, you could probably just leave this open at the bottom, but I want to have a certain amount of pressure build up in here so that we maintain the separation of gases. So I'm going to keep it contained, and we'll put a gas pump in there. And then in this top part over here, we're going to send our gas out of this space over to something to produce some energy. So I think I have it researched already in my... Yeah, there it is. So we'll have the hydrogen generator sitting outside here. This is going to get fairly toasty, though. So we'll have to make sure that we account for the heat in this and try to keep it cooled off. But we'll have... No, wait. This is going to be a little bit too close. I'm going to need a filter out here just in case, because we don't want to have a case of having too much of the wrong gas going to our generator, or it's going to wind up breaking. So we'll throw a little hydrogen generator a little bit farther out, maybe. Yeah, like that. We'll throw our gas pipe out here to it. In here, I'm going to throw in a filter. Like so. I should actually We can cancel this. Make sure I leave a gap so we don't have a pipe behind it. Okay, so this will filter any oxygen, for example, that gets into this space, or we might have to set it for CO2 initially to kind of get it to draw it out. So we'll take the CO2 out of it. We'll let the rest of the hydrogen pass to the generator, and that should build up and produce some power. This hydrogen generator, we're then going to have backwired into our system here so that it can produce some of its own power. And hopefully it should be self-maintaining. So if we run power off of this into here, like so, then once this sort of fires up and it gets running, we might actually be able to just completely disconnect this from the power grid. It'll be completely self-sustaining power-wise and produce the amount of oxygen that we need. Now, this isn't going to be enough to supply oxygen for the whole colony, but we'll make like 2 of these. We'll do one on this side and one on this side, and kind of see how that works out. In the upper left end of the air chamber, make it a little bit... Yeah, it is. It doesn't really matter. It could just be like that. Over here, we're going to want to deal with the heat coming out of this. So I'm still researching the thermoregulator. But what I'm thinking is we'll send the oxygen out of here through like 2 thermoregulators. It'll drop it 26 degrees. And then we can pump it down into the colony. And that should do a fairly decent job, I think, of oxygenating one side of the colony. And then if we have one on the other side, that should oxygenate the other. And then I'll control the temperature of the thermal regulators in here through a water drip system. I'd kind of like to get the micro pumps going so we're not using crazy amounts of water, but we'll see what we can do. I'll try to set up some sort of a water system in here to kind of manage that. But we'll see how that goes over. Fortnite was brutal today. Oh my gosh, I don't know what it is. Some days when I'm playing Fortnite, it's one of those things where I have days where things go really, really well, and then I have days where everything is just a gigantic, flat-out disaster. So I was playing a little bit earlier today. It was definitely more on the disaster side for me as well. It's not just you, Summer. Have I discovered any of the new geyser vents yet? No, not so far. This is the only geyser we found so far, is this one here, the natural gas one. Of course, that's not new. It has new artwork, which is kind of neat, but they haven't... Yeah, I need a battery in that system too, you're right. But I haven't found any like the new like polluted water ones or dirty geysers or whatever. Actually, we probably should use a smart battery in this system. Ooh, I need refined metals for that. So I guess we should probably set up some metal refinement too while we're at it. We'll do a rock granulator for now. We don't have the other one. The other one produces a ton of heat too. It's probably just as well. We'll set a rock granulator in here. That'll give us some refined metal. I'll use a smart battery on this, which will turn off our hydrogen generator when the battery's got sufficient power. That way we're not going to waste energy that comes out of the system also. The shadow thing's annoying. Not many people do it. It doesn't have to be a smart battery there. It's just it will make more sense because it'll balance out the power the power production. That way we're producing only as much power as we need to make sure that battery stays charged up. As long as the battery's charged up, then our oxygen supply will continue consistently. Again, assuming we have water. Suggest getting geysers open and known ASAP. Last sessions of yours had good volcanoes, super early automation fun. Oh, yeah. What'd you miss? Not a ton. We drew out the space here where we're going to do our first little oxygen supply room. I'm going to do a second one over on this side. But yeah, no, you haven't really missed a ton. I'm probably going to need to... actually, I'm going to watch out for the sand over here. The sand's going to be a nuisance. So much sand. Tell them to dig out all this stuff here that we're going to need opened up. See how that goes. STC's the chat. He does. Oh, actually, this here, I'm going to cancel it. I want to build that out of gold amalgam, of which we only have a little bit accessible to us. So we have a little bit right here that we can get to. Not at the point yet where we're in the swamp biomes too much. Where's the German overlay? I haven't gotten into the swamp biomes too much, so we don't really have gold amalgam available. There's only a little bit right there. Theoretically, we can make it out of iron also, which we did gather a whole bunch of. I know there's a soft metal suitable for building power systems. Melting point 1500 degrees. So, I mean, we could use iron as well, but I just think gold. Gold is generally better because you get that nice little overheat benefit. Where is it here? Overheat modifier plus 50 degrees Celsius, which is kind of helpful. So hopefully we'll have enough there that we can build that. Hold on, let me see. And we should probably be able to check it right now. It's going to take 800. We'll drop that right in here. Should be good. It doesn't say they don't have insufficient materials. But it's still unreachable right now, so we'll see what happens. Do I have the right job for the automation on my smart battery? Not sure I understand what you mean. Are there any germs we're digging about the batteries? No. No, it's all fine over here. All the germs are over here in the swamp biome, of which there is a fair amount. I should make a larger bank of batteries in here, too, while I'm at it. The last time we set up our power grid down here, so we have our 2 coal generators, and then we separated into 2 separate power grids. We have sort of a left and a right. As the colony gets bigger, we'll obviously need more than that, but each side right now currently has a bank of 3 batteries, but that's not really a ton. We could do with having a little bit more battery power there. We just have to dig. Does the hydrogen use up all the hydrogen it produces? Just thinking that might back up. You get a backup of hydrogen in the system. No, it'll consume plenty. So, if you look at the electrolyzer, it produces like 188 grams per second of where is it here? Of hydrogen. Sorry, 112 grams per second. So it produces 112 grams per second of hydrogen, and then our generator will consume at a rate of 100 grams per second. But the reality is, it seems to burn through it a lot faster than you would think. You get a certain amount of it will be compressed into the pipes. In the experiments that I was running with this, it never really backed up, even though the generator is technically consuming less. And I think it's because you'll hit a critical point where I think, probably what the issue was, it was burning through it because it was running constantly and not. Yeah, actually, I wonder if a smart battery might be a bigger problem. Part of the reason we want the generator is to burn off the hydrogen. So I may not even use a smart battery here. I might just use a regular one. Because anytime the generator turns off and we're still producing hydrogen, we're going to fall behind the curve. So we'll see. Automation needs a certain operator job. Oh, it does it? Cold amalgam also transfers heat well, so you can find cold biome with some warts. Yep, that's true. Stop backseat driving now. Yeah, I don't even know what job is required for automation. I haven't toyed around with the automation too much, aside from playing with it in debug mode since the whole job thing came out. But am I gonna braid the slime biome tonight? Yeah, if we can get some reed fiber going. Oh, good, they finished this over here. If we can get some reed fiber going, then I'll make some exosuits and probably go it that way. It takes refined metal 200 kilograms. This could be connected to a power grid. Oh! I forgot to separate the grid. So we had the whole thing drawn out, but I didn't actually separate it. What do I want to have broken off here? 240, 300. You know what? Let's separate over here. Extract that to make sure this is properly separated. 240. Not much drawing on this left-hand one, so I'll connect it to the left-hand grid. There we go. Didn't realize we hadn't severed it. I had it all drawn out and ready to go. I just didn't cut it off. Yeah, I build SMRT batteries. SMRT. You probably need one coal generator there. Well, I have two here. I have a second one that's not enabled right now. It's just idle. Just in case I need it. Who made a mess and why? Did I trap you somehow? Oh, I did. There's no floor there. Come on. All right. Well, that's a problem. We just peed all over our hatches. I'm sure they're loving that. Let's mop this up, please. He's the only one that can mop it because he's the only one that trapped over there. I hate when they get themselves stuck like that. In the meantime, we'll do priority over here of like 9. Let's get these built so he's not trapped there. Peeing's bad enough, but if he starts to suffocate, things will be really not so good. All right, a fancy gopher job taking care of things there, so that's good. Where'd the hatch go that was up here? There it is. Let's wrangle this guy. So we'll have 4 hatches in this space now. Look at all the polluted water bottles in here. They're going to be well fed for a while. The trouble is they don't really eat off the floor nearly as often as they used to. they got sort of a kind of a bath, a bit of a golden shower. Need robotic engineer to build automation. Okay, that's good to know. Where's the robotic engineer? Seasoned miner, architect, exosuit. Ooh, I need an exosuit engineer. And the correct use of exosuits, eliminating runs. Wow, okay. I didn't realize that they had to have a specific job to use the exosuit. That's kind of a problem. Seasoned rancher. I don't see a robotics engineer in here. Apprentice miner, architect, supply, general engineer. Oh, the electrical engineer. Oh, it's mechatronics engineer. That's what it is right here. And actually, we have Durgan at 100%. We could bump Durgan all the way up here. No, we can't. Durgan's not qualified. They need relevant tinkering skills of 5. Mastery of the courier job. Oh, that's so interesting. Okay. Wow, that's cool. Okay, so they actually have to have a double job in order to do the mechatronics. So, Durgan, we're going to take you out of the general engineer since you've already mastered that level. We will add you to Gopher. You're only at 11%, but that's okay. We'll build you up to the Gopher, and then we can make you the mechatronics engineer. So, you were formerly our artist, and now you're going to be a mechatronics engineer. How's that for a job change? Make sure you disinfect the hatch space. The eggs, yeah. What do we got going on in here, germ-wise? It's not even all that germy in here. It's a little bit. Where's our disinfect? Our poor rancher needs a shower now after playing in there. Fortunately, when they wash their hands, I think it'll get rid of the germs that are on them anyway. Yep, all clean. Let's continue our research. We have now our HVAC set up, so that's good. Maybe I'll go into liquid tuning next. Fossil fuels, plastics manufacturer, valve manufacturer. That could be handy too. Smart storage. I think I want this. Smart storage and transportation. That stuff's fun. Auto sweeping and things make a big difference in the game. It's pretty neat. How long have I been streaming? About 30 minutes. Not that long. Yeah, I'm going to be playing until 12 Eastern time tonight. So I usually stream Oxygen Not Included for about 2 hours at a time. Is our farmer moved along any there? Farmhand, 61%. All right, that's better. Fastman's now done here. Let's move him up to tenured scientist. And that will allow us to examine the geyser now. He's going to have a food requirement of +3 in terms of the quality and +75 for decor. So hopefully he doesn't get too stressed, but we'll see how that goes. We're at 11% for stress now. 10%. Gabriel's not liking the stress too much. He'll be fine. It's fine. What do they do with the Zodas? The germs explode everywhere when they pee in them. Let's just say they really need to work on their aim a little bit. Hi, KSI. Welcome back. My first mod. Did you change your username or something? KSI. It doesn't look familiar. Outside of stable. What? Is it because of the ceiling? Is that what it is? Ah, I broke my stable. All right, let's finish the roof here quickly. Finish my insulated roof. This is got to be a proper stable. We want our hatches to be happy and well-groomed and producing eggs for us down there. A bunch of dirt and stuff down here. Sand. Maybe it's slow going initially getting this all set up. This year I can produce... Should we do copper, I guess? Or maybe we'll do iron ore. We'll find some iron ore, I think. See how that goes over. Fortnite chat. .3D printing. Yeah, I guess they kind of are, right? Fancy printing pod. It's genetic 3D printing, no less. Biomechanical or whatever. These guys are doing pretty good. Maybe I should, you know, probably should draw out the design for our second room here. While we're at it, let's see. I don't even know how many tiles high that is. Go one higher. Now, interestingly, the hydrogen gas tends to move up to the left a little bit easier, so that's why I put the pump sort of on this side. So we'll kind of maintain that same structure over here. 1, 2, and then up like so. No. What did I do? Oh, I see. I see what I did. Don't build that just yet. One, two, three, four. Four space in there, like this. Go like so. Probably doesn't need to be exactly the shape. There might actually be a way to do it even just like a tiny bit more compact, but this will work for my purposes. Yes, whoops. That one I put in the wrong spot. Let's cancel that one. Oh, God, I suck today. This is why I do so poorly in Fortnite. I can't even place static objects in the right place. Never mind hitting moving things. Airflow tile. Get that in there. We're going to need plumbing, so we can do... No, not plumbing just yet. Not ready for plumbing. We want oxygen. Electrolyzer. If you lose your tenured scientists after they've done research, you're pretty much done. You can't research Geyser, so maybe make 2 of them. How do you mean by lose them? You mean like if they die, for example? Analyze. I think I should be fine. I mean, the temperatures out here aren't bad. It's within walking distance of things. They can get right back into the environment where the oxygen is. I don't think I have to worry too much that way. What are the odds I can actually build an airflow tile in here to get oxygen in without my hatches falling through the roof? Does it not flow back through the transformer? No, power won't go backwards to a transformer. It only goes one way. They can't build the right air room. The bottom wall will block them. Oh, over here you mean? Cancel that so they can get in there. Does it matter where you put the battery? Before coal, after power converter? Please and thank you. It does matter where you put the battery a little bit. So once you have a transformer in place, the power can flow in one direction but not in the other. Sometimes it's helpful to have it on the side of the transformer after it's converted the power down to the lower wattage, so that you can store up energy on that side of things. That way if there's any interruption, you have it available right there, whereas anything that's on the other side of the transformer is going to be shared through all the rest of the power supply. So I have these batteries on the inside of each of the power transformers just to make sure that each segment of the system stores its own power up, and it won't share it back through the whole of the system. It'll just share it with its own specific side. Still getting experience in the jobs, even if they aren't doing it. They're just experienced faster doing the job. Well, yeah, so like if they're actually doing the work and you have them assigned to the job, they build up the experience in it. If you don't have them assigned to the job, even if they're doing it, that doesn't build them any experience. So what do you do in this game? You basically just build a colony and you try to survive. There's lots of stuff to research. You expand out, try to build a working colony that your colonists can survive in, and that's pretty much the whole objective of the game. There's not really like an end goal you're striving for here, so much as just long-term survival and making something that actually doesn't crash and burn. Along the way, there's lots of fun little things you can work with, like building a little ranch here to... Oh, look at this guy. I thought I already told him to. But I guess not. You can build like a little ranch, for example. You can do some like fun little automation types of things. There's kind of a variety of stuff you can do. It's neat. Battery gets hot, transformer gets hot. Dig bare minimum you need, and then build inside the undug high density bits of rock. Keeps temperature managed and leaves its future problem. Yeah, it's fine. The batteries don't get as hot as they used to, actually. So these ones have been running for a while. They're at like 35 degrees. So yes, they definitely warm up. They produce heat, but they don't produce heat at the level they used to. It used to be if you could have a whole string of batteries together, they would get so hot. And the way that heat transference worked, you could drip water at the beginning of the chain of batteries, and by the time it got to the end, it would be converted to steam. It doesn't really work that way anymore. I tried a little experiment with it to see if I could try to use the ambient temperature from different machines as a way of getting rid of germs and stuff in my water, rather than having to create a separate system to be able to do it. And it just doesn't work very well anymore. Can you set priorities of the auction stuff to 6 in the right half? Yeah, I probably could. I didn't put a really high priority on it just because I figured they could kind of get to it on their own. But actually, I should probably dig this out. If I don't dig that out, they can't do a whole lot of building. But we'll set all this to priority 6. See how that goes. Actually, what I'll do is I'll do priority 5 for the stuff that's right here, because I don't want them to get I don't want to get them to build this wall before they do this other stuff. Otherwise they'll block themselves, then we'll be able to get in there and do it. Gloomy Dungeons the Third, $1 super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat and for the support. I appreciate that. I wonder if before Final Release, Clay will add some endgame boss. I don't know about an endgame boss, but because there haven't been any bosses at all in this game, so I don't really foresee that. I don't think there is a lot of lore to the game. Apparently, I think they're supposed to define your purpose here, like so you understand why your duplicates are in this place in the first place. It's kind of where I heard from the lore side of things. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what ultimately comes of that. Also, I think it'll be kind of cool to learn a little bit more about it, or maybe it'll get to the point where they actually, you know, they survive and escape or something. That would be pretty cool also. Priorities have all seemed wonky since they started tweaking them a couple updates ago. Yeah, they are a little bit. I mean, the priority system in here is kind of cool now, so you can actually set things that they're going to have at a certain higher priority and those they aren't. So I have for everybody, for example, is increase. Oops, not this guy. I have everyone increased on toggle management, so they'll. When I tell them to toggle something, it's a priority for whoever's nearby to go and do it. Our rancher is the only one who's set up for combat. I actually think in the Mark II update for ranching, I have a feeling there's going to be some more critters that deal damage. There might be actually a use for combat at some point, because right now there's no point almost no point at all in killing things unless you're going to, you know, harvest it for meat or something, or try to get a hatch out of an area you don't want them in. Stotter's the first time someone got the pronunciation of your name right on the first try. Wow, sweet. We'll call that beginner's luck. My pronunciation is usually terrible, so I won't take too much credit there. All right, you guys are doing good work. I like this. I'm actually room going in no time. Now the only challenge is going to be we have a decent amount of water, but it's not an enormous amount of water. So at some point we'll need to set up some sort of water production system too. But with any luck, we'll find a geyser that will help a little bit with that. Vending machines are coming to Fortnite. It'd be a bittersweet to spend so much time building up a base only to leave after it's perfect. I guess so. I mean, for me, I actually enjoy the whole process of building a colony and getting it to survive. So I've started a lot of new colonies. With all the updates that are coming out, I end up starting a new colony every few weeks, because they have all this new stuff they're adding in. There's things in that I haven't even played with in a game yet because of the things that have come out. Like, for example, all that stuff in the research tree that we actually just unlocked. All this stuff around solid transport and smart storage. I haven't played with any of this stuff yet. Aside from in debug mode when I was kind of learning how it all works. But I haven't actually had it in the game yet, which is kind of funny. Low resistance conductors. What else do I want to research now? I guess we'll go into liquid tuning. I really wanted to use the exosuits, but I'm starting to think that's not necessarily going to be terribly viable, because you actually have to train up somebody to use the exosuit, which I'm actually kind of disappointed by. We haven't analyzed this yet. Let's put that at a 7. I want to find out what the deal is with this geyser down here. If we can get our tenured scientists to go and take care of that, they don't really need to be digging anyway. I could have sworn I saw another hatch down here somewhere, too. And I haven't wrangled yet. Unless maybe I got it already. It could be hidden in here, I guess. No eggs yet. These guys, how's the condition of these guys? So, this hatch here, they're feeling overcrowded. Critters are comfortable with so many other critters in the room of this size. Really? Well, that's not great. I guess we definitely do need to make our hatch farm a little bit bigger. Huh. Happy to 64%. 59%. 50% wildness. Happy to 63%. Well, that stinks. Alright, so we have 5 hatches in here. I guess we could take the wild one and we'll get rid of it. We'll turn it into meat. I want to see what the ideal number is for this size of space. Is it 4 hatches? Because we have 5 in here now. I also need to clean up the floor. Somebody's got to do some sweeping in this place. Where's our gopher? Combat. We finally recognize the order. That's destroying another pet. Okay, now, how about now? Okay, so it looks like 4 in this room is the maximum number we can have before they start to feel overcrowded. That's good to know. The size is fine. Just start eating them. Yeah, I just wanted to know what the ideal number was in that space. Max size is 24 by. Well, yeah. If we go into the rooms over here, the room overlay. Oops, what's that? Oh, I didn't realize there was a conveyor overlay. That's cool. So in the room overlay, 96 tiles is the maximum, and we currently have only 56 tiles. So it's actually a fairly small ranch in here. If it wasn't for the potential for the hatches to jump out of this opening and run out here, I'd get rid of this and make the room even bigger. And then they might be okay with 5 hatches in there. But 4 is alright, I guess. Once they start laying eggs, we can gather off of those. Selective herd culling, that's right. Oh, lady, don't think of them as pets. Think of them as future food. Delicious, delicious barbecue. That's what we'll call it. And actually, while I'm thinking of it, I'm not making bush fry right now. Let's make barbecue. Oh, wait, we can't. I need pinch of pepper. Pinch of pepper nuts. And I have none. Man, we have a lot of farming to get going on. Where is my consumables? I don't want them to eat that hatch meat. I want to make barbecue out of that eventually. Let's turn this off. Nobody eat the raw meat. We want barbecue. So if we can keep that intact for now, they'll store it away. Cooking ingredients. Really, I hate how I have to set these every time. Alright, so they can store the meat and all the cooking ingredients down in there. And then when we get some pinch of pepper nuts going, then we can make some fancy barbecue. That'll be good too. Put the door on the airlock. Well, see, my concern is I'm curious to see whether I should test it. I'm curious to see whether the duplicates will open up this airlock door in order to make that jump. I'm not 100% sure they will. I'm curious. Experiment. They won't add, yeah, it'll add 12 tiles. That'll be a little bit. Say you are what you eat, so you should be something. Shouldn't you be something you love? Yeah, that's right. We have to eat the things we love. It's important. I think we got refined metal now. I should actually look under here for the incubator. There it is. Let's drop an incubator in here. How much power does this thing take? I don't even remember. Actually, we'll leave room for 2 in here. Just in case we really do want to go the barbecue route. We'll leave space for 2 incubators. $240 watts. That's not that bad, actually. There we go. Incubators. Food still spoils eventually, even if it's in a sterile environment now. So, find those pepper nuts quick. Does it really? Interesting. I haven't noticed any spoilage. Content, slice loaf with food poisoning. Oh, that's great. How has nobody gotten sick with all that food poisoning in there? Ration boxes keep food safe for hungry critters, but don't slow food spoilage. Oh. Unrefrigerated. Temperature above 4 degrees. Food spills more. Microbes destroy, preventing this food from decaying. So it says it's prevented from decaying. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't noticed any food spoilage when you have it stored in carbon dioxide, but I don't know. How many hours do I have on Oni? I don't know. It's got to be 300 plus. I think we looked at it at one point a few weeks ago. I don't really remember. Dies when you cook it. Yeah. Need fridges. Yeah, I mean, maybe. The fridges certainly, they store a little bit more. They also take up a little more space. I think they're tall. It's not too bad. They store a little bit more, but I don't really need the power consumption when we have them sitting in a sterile environment. It shouldn't spoil. I'm curious to see whether it will now. I'm going to sit and keep an eye on that. Watch for food spoilage there. I haven't had a notice for food spoilage in quite some time, but it could also be because the duplicates have just been eating it at the right pace. So we'll see what happens with that meat. It's not like we're going to be producing eggs once these guys are happy enough anyway. And they're like 78%. So they're getting up there. They'll start to produce some eggs in the near future, I think. It's been very hard to keep food poisoning away from stuff recently. Yeah, I mean, realistically, this kitchen space should be a little bit bigger. And I should have a hand washing station on the way to the food production. Because if you look at the germs in here, there's... Wow, let's disinfect that thing. I can't, actually. It's the stuff that's inside that's got all the germy infectedness. Remember watching a video but noticed that you're on 59. Oh yeah, this is a relatively new colony. We started this one the week before last, I think. I do have a lot of kilocalories saved up now. We were before in a place where food was like a chronic problem, but not so much right now. Caleb's groundskeeper is up to 100% now. What does this give him? Does it give him anything good? Qualifications, basic job training plus 2 to strength. That's pretty handy. So he's a little stronger now. Caleb is probably already set up for Gopher, but I'm going to check here. What happened there? What happened? Gopher? Yeah, he's already 100%. What else can we put him on now? Try to build up lots of skills in this guy. Maybe we'll go with Apprentice Miner. Build up some mining skills. Eggs are pretty decent food for those high job tubes. They really are, yeah. If you look over in the cook station over here, the omelets are standard quality plus 2, so they're not fantastic. But if we look at somebody who's a high tier, our scientist, for example, where are we here? Vitals. Who's our scientist? There you go, Fast Man. Somewhere here it shows his food preferences. Bladder 88%, stamina, calories. Maybe it's under bio? Where's his food preferences? I can't remember the tab it's in. Food quality expectation standard +2, so almost satisfy him even at the tenured scientist level. But as they get actual like character levels up, it also increases the food they prefer. So at some point the omelets aren't going to cut it, but for the most part they'll be good. Just started calling with their hydrogen pockets full of food poisoning germs. Really? This hydrogen actually has slime lung because it's connected to this polluted oxygen where this little morb's hanging out. I don't see germs there. That's interesting. Food poisoning germs in the hydrogen. That's crazy. Fortunately, we don't appear to have that. So that's good. Ridiculous like to see how the new oxygen hydrogen setup turns out. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think the tricky part will be priming the pump on this thing. We're getting there. It's almost finished over here now. We need we're gonna need a water supply though. Let's throw some plumbing in. We can branch off here. It's only using small amounts of water for our farm at least. And then where's my water overlay? I'm gonna disconnect right here, and we'll send the water line up this way. All the way up to the top and over. Connect it right in here. That'll give us a water supply we're gonna need there. Apparently I canceled this job, so we need to do that. We'll have to connect this initially to a power supply too, because obviously with no power, nothing's gonna happen. But we'll connect it, let it generate some hydrogen power, and then we'll shut it down. Oh, I need a battery in here too. I was gonna make smart batteries, but now I don't even know if I'm gonna bother. Let's make regular batteries for now. Go that route. Get the water supply higher priority. Yeah, we're gonna need to put a whole bunch of this on a higher priority. Wait, they've built most of this, but they haven't gotten this space in here, oddly. I kind of want them to finish building up here. We'll get the water supply going after they finish up here. If I give all this a higher priority, then we're gonna have competing interests for a little bit. How's our algae anyway? I haven't even looked at that yet today. Oh, there it is. 3,200 kilograms. We're only running 2 algae deoxidizers. That will run for a little while. We won't necessarily need it too much once this starts going. Set automation for the oxygen system so the pumps turn at high pressure so the gases have time to separate each other. Yeah. Yeah, well, so in the automation, we actually don't have a ton of stuff. We could use the Atmos sensor in here. So I'm going to use the Atmos sensor for our hydrogen. Because this grabs a significant amount more hydrogen than what this is able to consume. And I don't want it to clear out the hydrogen to the place where the oxygen starts to flow up topside, so we'll set up some automation in there. Like so. The generator at the bottom, though, this actually produces more oxygen than this can move as a pump, so it should be fine. We won't need the sensor at the bottom so much. Where's our oxygen here? So the electrolyzer produces 888 grams per second of oxygen, 112 grams per second of hydrogen. The gas pump is capable of moving, I think it's 500 grams per second. Yeah, 500 grams per second. So it'll produce more oxygen than this is capable of moving. So this can run basically constantly as long as this is going. Internet's kicking out. Oh, that stinks, Nelly. How do you stream on Xbox, Fortnite? I have a YouTube channel but can't post. Need help. So if you're trying to send to YouTube, you can't do it directly from the Xbox. You need a capture device. I'm using the Elgato HD60S as my capture device. There are other options as well, but that's what I use. If you want to send directly, you can use Mixer. However, you can't send directly to YouTube. And this game's fun to you? Yeah, I really enjoy this game. That's funny. I play quite a variety of games now. I imagine anyone who watches and follows Fortnite and started following the channel because of Fortnite, this is a dramatically different game than Fortnite is. But I actually enjoy these kind of like colony management, resource management style games, tycoon style games. Those all float my boat. Fortnite's sort of an odd man out for me because I'm really addicted to the game and I really enjoy it, but it's really a dramatic departure from most of the other stuff I play. $300 hours in the game? Yeah. Oh, you're using Mixer. Yeah. So if you're using Mixer, you should have the ability to send directly to Mixer. It's just that if you want to have any recordings and stuff that you're going to upload to YouTube, I haven't played with Mixer too much, so I don't know if they give you an option to download from Mixer, but if they do, you could do that and then upload the video to YouTube. Otherwise, you're going to need some sort of a capture device in order to handle the recording. So I use my HD60S both to record gameplay and then also to do live streaming. Later from Boston, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Should sleep, and I'm invested in this colony. That's funny. I'm headed to Boston on Thursday. I'm headed to PAX, my first time ever. PAX East. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a crazy few days, I think. So the rest of this week, there's not really going to be much live stream-wise. I have to leave super early on Thursday morning, so I won't be streaming on Wednesday, although I'm going to work on some recordings so that hopefully I have some stuff that I can have go live while I'm away. There won't be enough for something every day, I don't think, just because I don't think I'm going to have enough time to be able to do that. However, I'll have a couple videos ready to go live. Should be a lot of fun. Okay, I also want to get set in here for my my cooling system. So we're gonna set. Ooh, I really should have made this out of insulated stuff. Let's cancel this in here. Wait, let's go cancel buildings. I don't want to insulate this to try to keep it separated from the heat that I'm going to produce from our fancy thermal regulator setup. It's the easiest way to do this. I want to have a drip system, so I need a little bit of room. But I also want the water to kind of flow away from these. So if I'm going to do 2 of these here, and my plan is to have a slow drip that will drip on these to keep them cooled. So we'll need throw some mesh tile underneath it. Actually, no, I'm going to use airflow tile. Like that. And then I'll set a little pump to catch it. We'll do something with that water to recycle it. So you don't get entertaining streams on your overnight shifts? Nope, sorry, Durgan. My flight's at like 6:30 in the morning or something on Thursday. So because I'm going to have to be up so early, it's not really realistic for me to stream until midnight. Although I guess I could just stay up all night long, but that's going to make for a really painful Thursday if I do that. Favorite YouTuber, Waddles236. Thanks, Waddles. Appreciate that. Oh, don't you build in there. If they build this one and there's somebody in there, they're going to get trapped. That would be bad. Okay, so the air that flows out of this one, we want to have go into here like this. And then this one, when it comes out, is the one we're going to send down to the actual living space. I guess we just go straight down. Oh, maybe not, actually, because I have stuff in the way there. So we can send it to probably over to here. And I don't have high-pressure vents researched yet, I guess. Either that or I just don't have the materials in order to make them. Which is probably more realistically the issue. I'm going to go with smelting next. Yeah. Our research tree is getting close to being finished. This is cool. It takes a lot of research to get this thing done now. There's so many items in there. Does water dissipate in a drip system, or can you funnel it into a pool and use that for more drip? As far as I know, it doesn't dissipate. Not that I've seen, anyway. What I'm thinking, actually, is that... how much power is this going to produce? So, this generator will produce a total of 800 watts of power. We're currently drawing in here 240, 480, 600, 720. And then how much do these regulators consume? Ooh, 240 each. That's actually going to consume more power than this is outputting. Which isn't great. Trouble is the temperature of the heat of the air that comes out of these things now is like at a fixed temperature. It's like 70 degrees Celsius, and that's not really something we want to pump into the colony. Huh. I might want to watch the temperature on this a little bit. The thermoregulators are going to take so much power. I was kind of hoping to have them on the same system, but it's not going to be self-sustaining if I do that. What am I going to do about the carbon dioxide that's filling up certain areas? Well, for right now, I just keep this pressurized, and it keeps it all compressed. What I will do ultimately is we'll put a scrubber down here. Actually, once we're not reliant on algae for oxygen, we could also use the algae terrariums. My big concern with them is just that they consume a lot of water. So down here we have all this wonderful CO2. Actually, my CO2 lock here may not be working the way I intended, just because it's sitting in CO2. So it's actually allowing for the free movement. And we're not trapping the gases in here quite the way I want. I wonder if I can put a door in the bottom here. No, it's not letting me. Oh, that's why I got a heavy watt wire in here. Used to be able to build doors over top of heavy watt wire, but that's not the case anymore. So I had intended this little bottleneck here to trap the CO2 in this space, but because it's all CO2, it's actually allowing the movement of the pressure, so it's actually coming out of there. I could do a water seal here, which would stop that. This whole thing is largely just completely wasted. This whole structure I built here is just a complete waste of space. It's not doing anything that I need it to. The only way I could get it to stop is if I actually managed to clean down here so this was all clean oxygen. And then it would start to bottle up the hydrogen in here. But I don't really want to clean all this. I don't know. I'm going to have to give this some thought. I'll put a scrubber down here eventually. This is all CO2 down here, too. This whole thing. I have this whole CO2 lock system down here. There's so much CO2 in this space. The locks aren't really accomplishing anything. We just have basically free-flowing movement. Up here it works, because this CO2 is trapped behind oxygen. So this one works perfectly fine, but the one at the bottom here, this is all CO2. So I kind of completely wasted my time building those. Yeah, I could do a liquid lock there, but then every time they run through it, they're going to get the soggy feet or the sopping wet debuff, which I'm not thrilled with. When we get some actual some storage automation going in here, so shipping. This is something, I don't know if you've seen this before. You probably have if you've been watching other people, but this shipping stuff is pretty awesome. You can use these auto sweepers and stuff to manage the distribution of resources, and then I could actually close this into a separate room that nobody ever goes into, and have our auto sweeper take care of it. So maybe I should try to do a little bit of that, actually. How much gold do I have? Not enough. Let's use iron ore. Find some more of this. We have a fair amount of that hanging around. What if you only used one thermoregulator and then Wheezeworts? Well, I would prefer to use Wheezeworts ultimately, except I don't have any. We haven't found a cold biome yet. So we could put Wheezeworts in this space in here. It doesn't cool as quickly as the thermoregulator does, but we haven't even uncovered a cold biome yet. So we don't have any Wheezeworts at our disposal just yet. Until we send somebody out doing a little bit more exploring. I still want to get into the swamp biome so we can start tackling some of this stuff as well. However, until we get some sort of a control mechanism set up for ourselves to manage the incoming germs, I don't want to let the slime lung go crazy in my colony. I disrespected the slime lung in a colony that we built a little bit ago. I guess it was a couple colonies ago now. And that was a mistake. The slime lung has definitely got a lot more aggressive than it used to be. Set all this at 6, I guess. Could you do algae terrarium on the non-CO2 side? Yeah, you could, but it consumes a lot of water with the algae terrariums. That's the only reason I tend not to use them too much. I don't like the water consumption. Is your farmer ready to level up? They might be. I probably should check that. Yep. make Snowheart into a farmer, and that will allow them to use the little fertilizer machine down here, which will step up our production of Bristle Blossom. Not that we necessarily need it, because we have a ton of calories now. Once we get oxygen definitively in place, we'll actually be able to take on some more duplicates, because food is not a problem right now. How do you create so much energy? I have a couple of coal power generators down here. But for the most part, I'm not actually drawing that much energy in all this stuff. This up here, even though it's gonna consume a lot of energy, it's not necessarily gonna take a ton. You know what? I'm gonna cancel this for now. Let's hold on to this. Hold on to that for now. We'll see what the temperature of things look like coming out of here, and then if I need to, maybe I'll just use one thermoregulator instead of two. But this setup over here, it consumes a lot of energy, but this also produces 800 watts of power, so it'll actually supply the needs of everything that's in here, unless we have regulators, and then we'll need extra power input. But hey, Crip, love your vids. Hi, Ivan, welcome. Thanks very much. You got the slime lung, Papa. Cough, cough. I get so sick. It's so bad. Upgrade my gopher. Where's my gopher? There they are. Ooh, we can make them a courier. All right, Durgan, you can be a courier now. We're getting you close to being a mechatronics engineer. We'll get you there. Durgan our school, apparently. How am I liking the geyser generator in this update? Well, I haven't really played around with them too much yet. We've only got the one geyser over here, and I'm still waiting for it to be researched, actually. Can I prioritize it? I can. Did they do the analysis on this thing? No. Come on, give me some analysis over here. Needs be some analysis. This door here, there's no... I can just open this. There's no reason to even have that thing closed. Open the door. Let the air through. Let the hatches get a little bit of fresh air. Any tips for getting a lot of coal? Hatches. Hatches are good for coal. There's also like big pockets of coal in all the purple biomes, so you can go gather those. But if you want a renewable source of coal, it's your hatches. So now that they have the ranching in place here, if we can actually get, if you can get a whole bunch of hatches in one place, and just have them eating and pooping, you don't even need them laying eggs. If you can produce enough of them, then you can get a fairly steady supply of coal. I should look and see how many hatches it takes to produce enough coal to keep one coal generator regularly fed. I have a feeling it's quite a few. Can the scientists reach the geyser? They should be able to. I have a ladder out here, so if they go through this airlock out here down the ladder, they should be able to reach it. But, oh, they might not be able to. This spot right here might be stopping them. Well, I'd dig that out. That's probably what the problem is. There we go. Dig that out. Hopefully it doesn't... there you go. Didn't release any gases, so that's good. So they should be able to reach it now to analyze it. I hope. I haven't seen them analyze one before. I'm really curious now. Can you please play more Gold Rush? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be playing more Gold Rush. They actually had an update come out in the beta branch for Gold Rush that I'd like to check out. The challenge I have with Gold Rush is just it takes a really long time. It takes hours to do anything for Gold Rush because there's so much digging involved. So that last video that I put up, for example, that was something like 4 hours worth of work in order to get a video that was like 30 minutes long. Thanks, love the vids, Fame Gamer. Thanks, King Krylo. Glad you enjoy it. I'm just happy people like watching it. You have 4 stables with 8 hatches at each, and you can run 11 coal generators, and you're still making more coal than you're using. Oh, that's pretty sweet. All right, I don't want that much. I want to find the balance. I want to find that spot where I have a good enough number of hatches, but I don't necessarily need like a massive army of them. Not that there's any detriment to doing it, because you can always eat them if you get too many. But what do we want to do next? I guess we'll go into fossil fuels, plastics, and valve miniaturization. Can't believe we're almost done a research tree. That'll be sweet. We can get rid of both of these, which are producing heat in the colony. It'd be nice to get rid of those. Everything's still nice and temperate down below here, but I am a little bit worried that the temperature in here is going to climb to the point where the plants start to stifle. They're good up to 30 degrees, and we're sitting at like 28.8. So we're kind of balanced on the precipice here. If you get too many hatches in a ranch, they get crowded debuff. Yeah, I noticed that, actually. We had 5 of them in this little space, and it was too many. It was already crowded. affect their happiness and overall production. Yeah. Oh, look, they finished the incubator. So we've got puffling eggs, hatchling eggs, shine nymphs, and slickster larvae egg. Not that we could do any of those other than the hatch, and they haven't laid any yet up here either. It's a little bit surprising. What's their happiness level? 100% happiness. 100% happiness. Reproduction, 91%. At 100% reproduction, critters will reach the end of the reproduction cycle and lay a new egg, so they're getting close. 99%. We're going to see some eggs up here in a minute. Actually, I want to see them poop the egg out. Well, obviously, they don't poop it out, but I want to see them lay the egg. Is that thing burrowed? There's a hatch burrow there. How did it do that? There's not even ground there. Mad skills. Did I somehow... You know what? Let's wrangle this thing just in case. I have a feeling I trapped this hatch inside the tile here somehow. They still haven't done research down here. I'm gonna dig out another spot here. Hopefully I don't free the beast and let all the natural gas out of there. Go get it, Caleb. Uh-oh. It's a little exposed now. I don't know if the gas will come out there or if it'll just come out of the top part, but we'll see. I'm surprised the scientist hasn't gotten down there yet. I wonder how much you have to have exposed before they'll research it. I was hoping they could do it just with a tiny little bit, but apparently not. Unless I have them... That same scientist is probably busy doing this research. It's only priority 5 for that, though. Where I have the analysis up here set like priority 8. Huh. If you have the resources, change out tiles just above your mealwood to abyssalite tiles to help stifle the heat moving downward. Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea. I mean, there'll still be the hot air that goes down there, but help a little bit. It comes out of the mouth. Oh my gosh, I gotta see this. So they don't poop out the egg, they vomit it out. That's awesome. 95%, 49, 3%. Oh no, we missed it. It already laid it. And there's a wild one in here still. Oh, that's not fair. It made it wild. It was in the same space, but when I re-wrangled it, it turned it into a wild hatch again. We did get an egg out. I missed it. Let's incubate an egg. Actually, there's almost no point in incubating the egg. I should probably make omelets. Guy just says it's idle, so I think it's blocks. Yeah, it might be. It might be, or it could just happen to be on the cycle right now where it's not running. Natural gas. Oh, it looks like they did analyze it. 312 grams per second at 150 degrees Celsius. Eruption period 180 seconds every 441 seconds. Active period requires analysis. Okay, so they haven't done the analysis yet. Analysis pending. I really wonder how much you have to have exposed before they'll analyze it, because it's not really... This is a high priority thing right now. It's at 8. I wonder if the top has to be exposed. You need to expose it full to do some research. And if it erupts, the scientist can get scalding. Oh, that's great. I don't want it to erupt on my scientist. Oh, I put the second door in here just because I wanted to see whether the duplicates will be able to get through it. And they can. So let's deconstruct. Make the space a little bigger. We'll be happier with our hatch in here. Ah, look at the little egg going. Okay, so hopefully with this extra space in here, we can have 5 hatches without any issue. There's our fancy rooms. Ooh, this is... I forgot I haven't done the power supply scenario down here yet. So in our stations, we should have the power control station. Produces microchips to increase the power and output of generators. Assigned duplicates must possess the tune-up trait. This building is a necessary component of the power plant room. Sorry, I had to cough. Wait a minute. Did that say 5 kilograms of refined metal per use? Forget that. I'm not producing that kind of refined metal just to consume it. It's Expand the farm. Move the right door over 1 tile. Oh, here? We don't even need to expand the farm. We're at 100 and some odd thousand kilocalories. We need to go deeper for oil and plastics. You are right. Hatch is a wildin'. That's right. Poor little Hatchy. Oh! Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. Okay, so this thing started to do its thing. We want to seal that off. We exposed it enough, it's no longer idle. And we started to do the research on it, but it's not finished. That's not good. Not good. Okay, we should probably think about having a medical bay. If we're gonna send a scientist up there to do research. Man, more and more I'm expanding. I have to get it more oxygen. So I don't even have a space for a medical bay. It filled up all the space I have in here. I guess down here I could put one once we're finished with our research. Move the right door of the ranch over. Yeah, we could do that a little bit, I guess. Somebody finish that door. We got scalding hot gases in here that I did not want. Oop, there's Fast Man. Grimy, popped eardrums, holding his breath. Apparently it's going to take a while to research. But he is working on it now, at least. Forgot it was a natural gas geyser. Oh, yeah. We got natural gas floating around now. I didn't really want that to come loose just yet. I probably should build this with that in mind, just knowing that it's there. Let's set this at a priority 8 as well. Ooh, priority 9. Alright, I forgot I told them to build that door at priority 9, so it changed it. Alright, if they build this in here, then I can build the ladder here. I'm going to try and make a sealed room in here as quickly as I can. It looks like even though the gas is coming out... Ooh, it's 53 degrees in there now. I was going to say, it's not that hot in here, but it is plenty hot. Don't die, little dude. 19% stress now. Fast Man's not liking the heat and the pressure over there. Algae's pretty low. 1,400 kilograms. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not great. It's not too bad, though. I probably should have put a door in here so these guys can get through when I want them to come over to this side. I think I'm going to do that. We'll do a mechanized airlock in here. Or not. Come on. Really? I gotta destroy the tiles before I... Alright, whatever. Deconstruct these. So I can get to the algae over there. We'll put a door on this side. Blocking these now since I don't need that open anymore. This room's almost finished. We're getting close. We're getting close. And then up here we'll want to finish off this wall also. Like so. Doesn't really matter if they haven't finished the ceiling piece in here, as long as it's sealed in. Zero boost lasts for about 4 cycles. Volcano kind of right next to your base, incapacitated all your dupes and killed them. Oh my goodness. Didn't have enough time to build anything to block the heat. It sucked so bad. Oh my gosh, I bet. I mean, fortunately I already have insulation in here, so that's not the worst thing ever. Let's deconstruct this ladder. We only need 1 ladder in here. I don't know how high this geyser goes. I haven't seen the new art and the art for it. So is it 3 tiles high? Is it 4? I'm going to dig in right here, though. I'm going to go like this. In here, I'm going to put a gas pump. And then I can kind of dig this space out and seal it in so that when this goes off, I'll have access to a gas pump that's in there. I'm not necessarily going to be able to use it right away, because I don't have anything set up for power generation for fossil fuels. But at least it'll be contained. Once the research is done anyway. There we go. In the ventilation here, we'll throw a gas pump in. Maybe we'll throw a little pressure sensor in too. Where are we here? Atmos sensor. Stick some automation wire on it. We're going to need regular wire attached to this thing. There we go. Oh, we're going to need ventilation attached too, I guess. Use an insulated gas pipe, I guess. We'll throw an insulated gas pipe out here. I'm not going to connect it to anything. We're just going to prep all this so that when it gets... Oh, the top of the geyser is right there. Oh, that's great. Good times. We'll just have it all ready to go. That way when we're ready to make use of the gas, we'll have access to it. But in the interim, I don't want to have to tap into that too much. This airlock here is doing a fantastic job. It's keeping everything sealed in, which is good. Over here, this is still so close to being done, but not quite there. Aw, really? Okay. Deconstruct. They finished off this wall before they connected the final piping there. Get that taken care of. This here, we're going to want to connect like so, and then we'll set this to filter out oxygen. Not that there's a lot of oxygen in here right now, but there is some. We building natural gas far from the base, already toasty. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I could set it up here, for example, and produce power in this space and just shunt it into the colony. But can't do much about where the geyser is located. But this will at least be set up to sort of tap into it and draw the gas off of it. Once I get all this wiring and stuff finished in here, I can close that off. We'll dig out the rest of this so it's totally exposed. I should dig this out. Make sure we have room in here. Actually, it doesn't really matter. This thing's already erupting. It's already filling the space. Let's just dig that whole thing out. It's like you want to play Oni, but at the same time, you want to see me play through it. Yeah, I guess you could do it at the same time. But such a good game. I'm really impressed with all the stuff that that Clay puts out. They have a new game coming out called Hot Lava that I applied for the beta for that I'm really hoping I can get into. It's like that classic The Floor's Hot Lava game where you gotta like jump from thing to... It's almost like parkouring or whatever. You gotta jump from object to object to try to avoid the hot lava. Gosh, guys, don't get scalded while you're doing this work, please. That's a lot of chlorine there. Now it's erupting like crazy. Caleb's like standing right in the heat as it was coming out. Let's get our insulated tile in here. Oh, they didn't finish. Come on. Finish the wiring. I dug it out too soon. They didn't finish the wiring. That's going to represent a problem. I need a ladder. Come on, guys. You're almost done. This thing here needs to go... It's below 0. They don't need it on right now anyway. How's it going? You're playing Oni right now. Would be nice. It's one of the games I start playing and it's really easy to lose the time. Ooh, what happened to my power? Oh, they're so busy doing those jobs. I don't have them filling up the coal generator. I really need to get some automation built in here. So let's go with, we'll start with something really simple right away. In shipping, we can grab our auto sweeper and put that right here. And then the auto sweeper, once they build it, will take the resources out of the storage compactors and actually put it in the coal generator for me. And then I won't have to do that. And then it'll no longer be a duplicate job to come down here and deal with this business. This stuff here needs to get... I need this dealt with right away. They're never going to build this insulation at the top, unfortunately. But that's okay, I guess. SMRT builder. That's right. I undercut myself before I even finished the work. What's this? It was about 310 about 2 weeks ago. 310 what? I think I must have missed something. Being scalded by farts would stress you out. Well, the natural gas isn't necessarily methane. I know they have the duplicates farting natural gas, but you know, it's not necessarily methane. Oh, good, they did finish it. Nice. Okay, one little tile up here they can do there, and then we'll seal this off, and we'll have our contained natural gas here. There's a bunch of chlorine in here too, but that doesn't really matter. Come on, you're almost done. Nice. All right. I have all this gas up here, but that doesn't really matter. It's fine. It's a little warm, but it's fine. Stress is increasing. Yes, it's 61%. It's Fast Man. He's out there doing all that research, and he's in that horrible environment. I don't even have a massage table for him. I probably should set one up. I don't know what his stress trait is. I should check that. We'll throw a little massage table here and connect it to the power grid. Quality lacks mechatronics engineers. Do we have Durgan ready to do that yet? No, she's only 24%. Come on. I need my mechatronics engineer. Goes for a de-stress vacation after the steam. Yeah. He did finish analyzing it, though, so it's done. You can see the little the analysis thing sitting on there now. Analysis complete. All right. It didn't let for me. Okay, so this is dormancy period of 56.7 cycles. Active period 125.2 cycles every 163.1 cycles. Next dormancy is in 56.7 cycles. Wow, it's going to keep going until we're in the hundreds. And then it's going to sit for 163 cycles. Wait, active period 125 cycles every 163. It's such a weird way of expressing it. So it's going to be dormant for almost 40 cycles. And then it'll be active again for another 125. Wow, weird. How much does it produce? 312 grams per second at 150 degrees Celsius. That's fairly warm. I'd like to tap in and use that heat at some point. Even if we're not using the actual gas yet, that heat could come in handy, although it doesn't look like it's coming out that hot. It's showing it's only in the 50s. It's not 150 degrees. I just realized, too, this gas pump is not made out of gold amalgam, so it's probably going to break down on me in the heat. Hello, Fox from Brazil. Rio de Janeiro. Oh, I'd love to see Rio de Janeiro one day. It's on my long, long list of places I'd like to travel to that I haven't been. Last call I made, you picked all ugly criers and their stress gets to 100%, so you had free water. Tears running everywhere. Ooh, we're actually getting close on the power consumption on that one grid. What's going on here? Max wattage, 1110 now. So if everything's running on it, it actually taps it out. That's no good. What's this other side doing? 2 something. Maybe I should sever it right here and we'll put it on the other grid. Things are a little on the toasty side there power-wise. You can't even get a good stress release, Fast Man. Gets on the massage table, runs out of power, has to go back to work. Can someone tell me if Fox plays Fortnite anymore? Yeah, I just played it last night, actually. I do still play Fortnite. It's not the only game I play, though. It's just one of the games that are in my rotation. I am addicted to it, so I usually play it a couple times a week. Okay, good. These guys are not overcrowded now. Oh, there's still 4 there. When this 5th one hatches, I'm really curious to see if it still says it's overcrowded. Hopefully not. Oh, poor guy. Just can't catch a break. He's on, he's off. He's on, he's off. These things are priority 8, and it's not doing it here. I don't know. I'm waiting now. It's almost done, but it's not quite finished. I think for now, until I figure out what I'm going to do here for the cooling, I want to see what the temperature of things are here. So I'm going to run the piping out this way. Do I need refined metal for this? I do. Oh, I also need plastics for that. Oh, that's crazy. All right, we definitely don't have access to plastics, so we'll put that for there for now. Supply and engineers. Do I have engineers going here? I don't have an engineer. Ooh, that might be my problem. Snow Hearts. You know what? He's 100% miner now. Let's take him off of here. We'll put him on engineering. So we can get an engineer in there. That might be the problem. Maybe I took away my engineers. No, but they were over here building this stuff, so it can't be that. I don't know. They won't even break this ladder yet. Is it engineers that do the deconstructing? Is that what the deal is? Who do we have doing gopher work? We have Durgan. She's doing supply stuff. Can you get rid of the manual generator to free up some space? Yeah, I probably could. Except they're not breaking the things I'm telling them to break. Why is deconstruction error assigned. Okay, break this. Oh, I see. Deconstruction's at 5, so they're tackling all the other stuff. Huh. Durgan, supply better. They can't reach it because the flooring isn't built yet. Where? Oh, you're right. It's a big... Yeah. Hello, I'm Mr. Attentive. I can see things perfectly good. I are fantastic. Cancel this for now. Mr. Fantastico! Yeah, there's like a 4-block gap there. There we go. Now we get the work done that we need. Okay, let's get this whole thing knocked out. They finally cut that wire off, so that's fine. Dan with the plan is back down to 23% stress, so he's doing a little better, or Fastman rather. So he's not running out into this horrible environment anymore, so his stress should be fine. We have 9.8 kilograms of natural gas built up in here at 41 degrees Celsius. So even though it says it's coming out at 150, it's really not that hot. That's interesting. It's good too. It won't create like some crazy super heated thing. I really want to get this going. Once we have this running, all they have to do is keep coal in these storage compactors. This thing will feed it automatically for us. That'd be great. Only is a perfect game for problem solvers. Yeah, I really enjoy this game. It's not super unique. There's other colony games, you know, RimWorld, what's that one? Dwarf Fortress. It's not unique in that aspect. I just happen to really like the style of it. Haven't played Oxygen in like 7 or 8 months. It's been a long time, so we've forgotten a lot about the game. Well, there's actually a lot that's changed about the game. If you played 7 or 8 months ago and you picked it up to play it now, it's not at all the same anymore. The artwork's still the same, but they've modified so much in the game over the course of the last year. With like automation updates and farming updates, and the research tree is dramatically different. I mean, the research tree used to be tiny, and now look at it. It's got like tons of stuff in it. So much to research now. Oh, look, they're actually down here digging now, too. Will we find our first cold biome? I swear I heard, like, a geyser. Where's my thermo thingy? I don't see any neutronium down here. Tiny little vacuum. She's hot over there. Not as hot as it said it would be. Oh, there's a cold biome. Oh, look at that. It's actually not that far away. I can dig up and over to it. I probably should do that. These guys won't get to this right away, but I'm going to have them dig up through here. They can dig a tunnel right through this algae and all this wonderful stuff. Then we'll dig up in the insulation here. Oops, derpy. I just don't want the water to flow out of here. So, and then once they get up to that space, I can have them dig into here, and we'll see what's going on in the cold biome. It'd be nice to get some Weezeworts out of there. Pierre Weber, $2 super chat. Please finish the oxygen system. I will. Thank you so much for the super chat and for the support. It's almost done. They've got the water piping all built. Electrical wiring is almost finished. Let's just get high priority on all this stuff to get it done. I don't think they can reach this one little spot, the tile there, but that's okay. In here we'll do a mechanized airlock. That's a priority 8 also. And then we're going to need wiring, of course. Okay, so this here, we'll connect up this way. It should only require this wiring until it starts to work. And then once it's running, we won't really need it anymore. Ultimately, I'll need to put some cooling on this also because we're going to want cool air coming out of this. We'll see what the temperature looks like initially, but it's going to get pretty warm. I don't want to pump too much hot air into the colony. That's not good for our farming and stuff. Weezeworts next to the pump would be good if we can actually find some up here. So now that we've found a cold biome, we can go snag some. The tricky part with the Weezeworts is that they draw in gases from the bottom and they release them at the top. So if we put them both right here, I'm not sure how well it'll manage the gases that are going through to the pump. We'll have to see what that looks like. It might reduce the pressure at the pump level. Let's see. What else have we got here? A couple more research items. Might as well go through healthcare. We're done with our research soon. We can get rid of that. That'll save some heat. These things are a little warm in here. These poor hatches. 38 degrees. What's their ideal temperature? Does it even say? Body temperature 22.1 degrees. It's 38 degrees in that space, and man, it got hot in there. Incubator's at 44 degrees. I wonder if that's the issue. Maybe the incubator's putting out too much heat. I might not want to have the incubator in there. It doesn't have to be in that room for it to be a farm. A stable. I don't think. No, it just needs a ranch station. It doesn't even need the incubator. So I should probably put the incubator somewhere else. Once this one's done, I think we'll deconstruct it because it's producing a lot of heat in here. I don't want to kill off our hatches with heat. Hope it does the renewable research. What renewable research? You basically got flooded with hydrogen. The gas pipe ain't working. You know what to do? Well, if you have a ton of hydrogen there, you got to pump it out. That's really the only thing you can do. Or create an opening at the top of your colony to allow the hydrogen to move upwards, because the hydrogen will naturally sort itself higher in your colony. So create a space that you can collect it at the top of your colony, and then you can pump it away from there. As far as your pump not working, I don't know. That really depends. Without seeing it, it's really hard to know what the issue might be. This I only want it to activate if it's above like 750 grams. Throw a wall in here because this is done now. That's our priority. It's almost finished. Almost ready to run. There's a little bit of wire in here when they finish that. That'll be the done deal. Actually, I should set max priority on this little wall here so they build it first. Just in case it starts to produce hydrogen. I don't want a whole bunch of hydrogen pumping around. Made a 140 by 2 stack with Weezeworts on the right side. Can attest to the gas is getting pushed up. Back pressure, 3 kilograms of O2 causing interesting problems. Oh, that sucks. I think the natural gas guys are producing the majority of the heat. The incubators aren't nearly as bad for the heat control. Well, I don't know. I mean, I mean, it could be. But it is warm over here. This incubator's at 44 degrees, so that's, you know, that's a fair amount of heat it's putting off. We might have gotten some heat through here, but the pocket that's down below here, the CO2, is only in the warm range. It's only in the, like, 35 degrees versus the heat that we're seeing over on this side. So it's got to be coming from this incubator. Hatches can handle quite a bit of the heat. Believe it or not, your ranch was almost scalding and they survived. Oh, that's good. Yeah, the heat hasn't transferred through this opening so much. This is only 36 degrees over here. 36, 37. And over here, it's 41. So, oh, you pooped out some coal. Oh, there we go. Our oxygen's done. How's our gases moving here? It's overpressured. All right, let's turn this off. We've already kind of maxed. Oh, no. All right, that didn't go how I wanted it to. I meant to have a little wall here so that the hydrogen's sitting in this side. I think this is sitting in a pocket of oxygen. Ah, drat. All right, I broke it. Party 9, let's get rid of this. We'll build a wall in here, Party 9 also. Now I wish I put a door there. I severed this just so it'll stop producing. It's still running on the battery power here, unfortunately, so it's going to keep going for a little bit. And then I'm going to have to get... I'll have to get this cleaned out, which is going to damage our hydrogen generator, unfortunately. Actually, no, this should be set to oxygen, so it should filter it out. Even though this is showing some damage. It's weird. Did the filter not work properly? Maybe it sent CO2. That might have been the problem. Temperature in here is 31 degrees, so it's not too crazy hot. 32 degrees. We'll have to watch the temperature in here and see what it gets up to. I think one of the bathrooms needs a clean. Also putting something like a cool incubator causing it to work slower. Yeah, they're on top of the bathrooms. It's okay. This here's a problem. There we go. Okay, so it ran out of power. That's good. It'll stop producing hydrogen for a little bit. We have 1,400 grams of it up there. When they cut in here, this oxygen is going to flow out, and the hydrogen is going to go with it. You see it leaching out. I just want them to go and dig this out really quickly. Because we did get some hydrogen out here. But that's okay. It's just going to sit way at the top of our base. It's not really that big of a deal. I just would prefer not to have it floating around too much. That's done. Good. Let's throw this in here. Actually, I should probably use insulated tile here. There we go. It's okay. Even your mistakes are entertaining. Thanks, Polani. I appreciate the super chat as well. Thank you for the $2. I think this will be done now. Hopefully. If they get this finished off here, we'll get our power supply reconnected. Like so. I'm going to set this initially just to if it's above 0. I want it to pump. So we can clean out the oxygen that's in this gap. And then once the oxygen's gone, then I'll set this to like 750 grams, and we'll let it build up a fair amount of hydrogen in here before the pump turns on. Actually, it's fairly high concentration there. If we can get rid of the oxygen that's here, then the hydrogen that sits in this pocket should be nice. Man, look at the air quality here. This is fantastic. Oh, man, we got to deal with this, though. All right, we're at that point now where the CO2 buildup at the bottom has gotten to be such a high concentration. I really should scrub it. But if I do that, I'm going to create polluted water. So that will probably be the thing we'll tackle on our next stream because it's actually getting fairly high now. I'll stem the flow a little bit right now, and we'll put some algae terrariums in here. Unfortunately, it's going to consume some water, but I'll get rid of those shortly. Ooh, what's going on here? Body temperature. We've got heat problems. Let's hit that point. The next stream for this might be interesting because we're starting to get some of those temperature challenges now. Fortunately, we do have a really good supply of food backed up, so it's not really a panic issue, but that's something we're going to want to get taken care of. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves without any crops. Shouldn't run the oxygen pipe through the bottom floor and let it filter at the top of the base. Shouldn't you run the oxygen pipe out of the bottom floor and filter? Yeah, I mean, I guess. The thing is, once you maintain high pressure, it doesn't really matter. It will distribute itself. Even oxygen up here is good now. Holy. Oh, I broke my... that's why it's not working. I was like, why isn't that pumping? It's because I broke the ventilation pipe. It's 1,600 grams. We got a good concentration of hydrogen built up in here now. Oh, I broke the wire too. Man, come on. No, I did not mean to keep the hydrogen pipe and thing disconnected. What the? It shows that it's not done, and yet it's done. How about that? Okay, how's our gas level in here now? Okay, this is all hydrogen, so that's good. I'm going to set this for 750 now. So we'll say if it's above 750 grams, I want that pump to turn on. It will pump the hydrogen into here. Any oxygen that happens to get caught in here will get filtered out and sent down to our normal oxygen supply. This layer here should never be replaced by oxygen because the hydrogen will always want to sort above the oxygen that's being produced, which should allow this over here to stay constantly as hydrogen now. Oh, there's a weird graphical bug or something there. It's just showing the pipe overlaid, even though it's not really there. I can now sever the wire here. We'll deconstruct this to get it off the main power grid, so we're not tapping into too much power down here. And then this should be self-sustaining now, aside from the water that goes into it. Graphical glitch confirmed, yep. Okay, that's severed. So this is now on its own little power grid. This here should maintain its own power supply basically indefinitely. As long as there's water flowing into here, we shouldn't have any issues. Everything seems to be working as expected. The two batteries get charged up by this. Yeah. This should be good. Perfect. Okay, so that's one down. We're going to build the same kind of thing over on this side. Though it's not necessarily as... I mean, it's high enough priority that I want to get it swapped out, but it's not critical. We have plenty of gases, like oxygen and stuff in our colony. Probably the CO2 is going to be our next biggest thing, which is already starting to sort out down here. This does take a fair amount of water to run the algae terrariums, as well as algae. So I don't want to do this too much. At least not until we get to the point where we can swap over the oxygen supply on this side. I'm really not thrilled with the temperature down here. It's warm. Everybody's really hot. I think this room up here, the heat's now coming down through this tile. It's kind of letting everything get really warm and toasty in here. Look at it. You can see it kind of shifting to oranges in this area. This is another reason why it's good to get rid of these, because these produce heat also, right? I mean, not crazy amounts, but not good. Thank you for sticking with it and for showing the overlays. Hooray! Well, yeah, it's nice that it's all working in here. So I'll have to keep an eye on this. This is the first time I built this kind of an oxygen room for use in my colony. Normally I build a larger one. I do like this more condensed version. But this one pump isn't enough to feed oxygen for the whole colony, but we'll see how this goes. I'm going to keep an eye on it, make sure it keeps functioning the way I expect it to, but it should be fully contained now. As long as it doesn't tap out the batteries or have something wrong with the pump that stops hydrogen from going into the generator, then this should be able to maintain itself. Get a second one going over here. We'll have 1,000 grams per second of oxygen being supplied to the colony, and we should be in good shape. You build your med bay above the empty water basin. Oh yeah, I could put it in here, I guess. Well, what I want to do is I'll build it in here. Once we finish this research, I'm going to destroy the research stations anyway, and that'll give us some extra space. I might as well go with home luxuries, I guess. We don't have plastics, but we'll finish out the research. We should probably do some sweeping in here, guys. You left a mess on the floor. Clean that up. Get rid of some of that stressor. 6% stress. Fast man's recovered well, so everything's going well now. Now temperature is going to be the thing. Temperature and CO2. We've started to clean the CO2 at the bottom, but we'll probably have to set up a scrubber system down here instead. I'm going to figure out the best place to put that. I'm thinking maybe over here. So it'll keep the kind of draw the CO2 away from the core area. And this temperature is here. That's not good. What's our temperature over here? 30 degrees. The air coming out of here is like 28 degrees. That's not that bad, actually. This is running intermittently, so it's actually not producing crazy amounts of heat. We might not have to do a lot of cooling on this. It might only need a little bit. What's our Bowers draw on this? So this is drawing... Potential power consumption is 720. So I actually have enough in here for one thermal regulator. That'll get us up to 960. And given how pressurized this is, this might not even overheat. That'd be great. Hold on. Utilities, thermal regulator. I don't have gold. I might use some gold. It is a hot running machine. I'll make it out of iron, I guess, for now. Alright, so we'll go utilities, thermal regulator. We'll just drop it right in here. And I didn't check my material because I'm awesome that way, even though I was just talking about it. Make it out of iron. We'll set up our piping to go this way. We'll need wiring in here. This should drop it. I think it's 13 degrees it drops it, so it'll put it like at a really nice temperature range. If this is going to stay around 30, this will cool it enough to make this a really comfortable temperature in the colony. You've never actually seen the thermal thingy before. This is amazing. Oh, you've never seen the thermal regulator? Oh, it's very handy. It produces a lot of heat, unfortunately, itself. But our gas isn't moving constantly here, so it might actually not consume that much power or produce that much heat. Hydro only produces 800. You're right, it does. So this is going to tap out. All right. You're right. 100% correct. Where's my wires? Power wires. Let's stop this. We'll connect it instead to the regular power grid. Because it'll tip us just over that sustainability point if I connect it the other way. Watch out for research tier 3 for Geyser research. What's this now? We researched this Geyser already. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Durgan, 55%. Come on, I want to get into the mechatronics engineer so we can start doing some automation stuff. That'd be sweet. What have we missed so far? Well, most of the gameplay for tonight. It's almost midnight already. We built a little oxygen room up here and set it on its own power supply system so it'll be fully self-sustained except for the water that is taken from down here, which is going to start to get tapped out. I got to be careful of that. We researched our geyser and got it closed off, so we have tons of 29 kilograms of natural gas compressed in here. Tons of natural gas to work from. So when we want to do a power supply system off of that, we can later. What else did we do? Started to clean up some CO2 down here. Look at that, it's already improving. That didn't take much. Oh, this is good. I can deconstruct this now. Check our priorities. Sever this off. We'll get everything running through our little thermal regulator, and I think everything will be good up here. See, look, it's already warm. This thing's already like almost 40 degrees. It's not even doing a lot yet. It shouldn't get too crazy hot, though, because it's not running constantly. It's intermittent. So now we have gas going in here at 27.1 degrees, which is really not that bad. And then it's coming out the other side at 15.7 degrees. 15.8. So it's going to be like 16-degree air temperature coming in here. And our plants down here, they ideally want 10 to 30, so that'll... It's gonna. I mean, this is really far away, so that's not really gonna help our plants too much. But when we get a similar setup on this side, then we'll start to see that. I'll probably pump the oxygen that comes from this oxygen generator into the living space, let it filter down from there, and hopefully that will help to mitigate a lot of the temperature issues on this side of the colony. We'll get our plants producing again. We do still have bristle blossoms, so we don't have to worry too much about food. Our kilocalories are still climbing, even though our plants are stifling. But we do need to solve for that temperature problem, and I think that's what we'll be tackling next time when we come back in. We'll get our temperatures all nice and settled out in our colony, so that things are looking a little bit nicer in here. This is kind of on the warm side. I mean, nobody's dying from the heat, but it could be a lot more moderately, like a lot more moderate temperature in here. So we'll see how that all plays out. But thanks everyone for coming out to the stream. As I mentioned, there won't be a stream tomorrow night because I'm going to be traveling to PAX East on Thursday. I won't be back again until Monday, so after tonight there won't be any streams until next week. But I will have a couple videos scheduled to go live while I'm away. Probably not one for every day, just because I don't think I'm going to have enough. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to get that all put into place before I have to go. Zaran Zentorian, $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that. Got to Cycle 100 for the first time ever. You and your vids have been super meat. Help with that. That's fantastic. I'm really glad I was able to help. This has been a really fun game. Over the course of the last year, I've played so much of this, and it's been so fun to toy around with it and experiment and build new things and build new colonies. Really enjoying it so far, and I'm glad you are also. But thanks everyone who's here tonight. If you don't currently subscribe to the channel, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so that when I upload videos or schedule new streams, you'll get notified of those as well. And then make sure you hit the notification bell. YouTube has that little two-tier system. If you don't click the notification bell, it's not really a sure thing you'll get notified. So you want to make sure that's checked off also, if you haven't done so already. But thanks again, everyone, for watching the stream. I do hope you'll come back again and check out the next one. I'm, as always, CrypticFox. I'll see all of you next time.